And welcome back, everybody, to On the Air with Indian River Hauntings. I'm your host, Larry Lawson, with my co-host partner and sometimes eccentric friend from England, Chris Huff. Say hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. I can't wait to tell you who our guest is. It's not going to be just Chris and I yapping tonight. We're going to be having a guest that we're very, very excited. Somebody that
we've actually got someone interesting on for a change.
Yeah, I know. I've actually had this guest, Mandy Cummings is her name. She was on my radio show I do locally here in Vero Beach, Florida, and Port St. Lucie, Florida. And I'll get to her intro in just a second. But first, I want to do some shout outs to our usual friends and colleagues. I want to say hi to Ike Enzi down in New Mexico, retired chief of police. And he is the operator of IDK Paranormal. It's Indigo Delta Kilo Paranormal, retired police chief. It's a great YouTube show. I strongly recommend all of you out there check him out. He's got some cool stories from the American Southwest and really an enjoyable show. So hello to Ike. I want to say hi to Pete Anderson at Paradolia Brewery, my favorite watery hole in Sebastian, Florida on Cleveland Street. Probably the best brewer this side of the pond, Chris. I'll say that.
Until I get some over here, I can't comment, can I?
Well, no, you can't, but I'm going to be working on that. In fact, I'm going to talk to Pete about that. So Paradolia Brewery, folks, in Sebastian, Florida on Cleveland Street, strongly recommended. And, of course, our dear friends Sherry and Nikki at Doodlebug Dowsing, the folks, members of our team, the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation, as well as the makers of all the dowsing rods that we use in our investigations and our events. So hi to Sherry and Nikki. I want to also say hi to Chris George of Annabis Paranormal Research Organization out in Colorado. We're getting ready to do a pretty cool event with him, probably in the spring out at the out in Nevada. And I'm excited about that, the Goldfield Hotel. So we're pretty excited about that. So with that, we want to jump into our guest today as a young lady that I've had the pleasure of getting to know. She's been on my show, Encounters with the Other Side, on WPSL in Port St. Lucie. She also falls into the law enforcement family and former law enforcement officer up in Ohio. She is the lead of an all-female based team out of Ohio, not too far from where I'm from in Toledo. They have full 3-time investigators and 3 reserve investigators, all female. That's why they're called the Ghost Sisters. They travel all over the country to 100 locations searching for evidence of the paranormal, and many of their investigations can be seen on YouTube, and I want to talk about one cool one they did today. So Mandy's with us, but she's got a whole bunch of other members of the team. So Mandy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Oh, hey, I had to. Once Chris saw you on the other show, he said, we got to get her on our show. So, we're doing that. So, Mandy, tell us a little bit about you, your team, how you guys got together. Give it to us.
Okay. So a little bit of my background is I have been dealing with the paranormal since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And I discovered I'm an intuitive medium. So dealing with the spirits my whole life, I decided that I wanted to start an all-female team because I was so intrigued with the paranormal. You know, growing up dealing with all this my whole life, I decided to start an all-female team because it's so intriguing to me. And I like to, I want to prove to people, you know, that there is life after death. And especially, you know, with the experiences I've had in my lifetime, things that people would just be blown away, you know, the things I've had happen. So me going out there, investigating with my team, I absolutely love it. You know, just being able to prove and debunk things that aren't paranormal, but being able to show people what we do and how we go about finding the evidence.
Excellent. I got to ask you though, why no males? You said I put together a female team because I was so fascinated. Why no guys? I don't know.
Well, that's interesting. Now, when I first started the team in 2017, it was one of my coworkers who also was in law enforcement, and it was my older sister who is still on the team. It started off just us, and then we ended up having my coworker's husband join the team. But here's the thing. His job was to watch over the cameras. He would set up the cameras and he was behind the scenes. So we actually did have a male researcher and a guy the tech guy, we called him. But, eventually the girl that was on my team, her and her husband decided to go and start their own team, which they have today. They're doing their own thing. And I always wanted to keep it as all females anyway. So after being with them for about 2 years, they went their way. I was able to just make it an all-female team because you don't see a lot of all females out there. You usually see, a team that has 1 or 2 women on there. You don't see a lot of women, just women investigating. So I felt like my spirit guides were telling me to leave it this way. I almost changed it. I almost did. But they were like, no, leave it. So I ended up leaving it, and it's been one heck of a journey for the past, it's been going on, since 2017 in October when I started it.
Oh, very good. Chris, I know you're dying to ask something.
I've just a comment really. I mean, if it works, don't fix it. That's as simple as it gets. If it works, don't fix it. So,
if it works, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's broke, don't fix it.
No, if it works, don't fix it.
Don't change it. Okay. I'm just giving you a hard time, old buddy.
Well, you always do. I mean, why not? Yeah. Hey, that's what I'm here for. Comic relief.
So you call yourself an intuitive medium.
Mm-hmm.
Explain what that means to you, to us.
Well, I am able to pick up on things that's going on around people. Like I can pick up on their energy. Like if someone walks into a room, whether it's someone I know or a stranger, I can just tell a lot about that person, what's going on in their life, And also being a medium, I'm able to connect to the other side. I can communicate with channel spirits and, their loved ones, they'll come to me and I just give messages to people. I didn't always know that I could do this, but as my journey began in mediumship now for more than 4 years, I was able to kind of piece everything together because of everything that happened to me growing up. Makes sense to me why I'm doing what I'm doing now,
When was your first indication that you had this gift?
Oh, it goes way back, but I've always been told that I was a very gifted person, and I kind of started realizing it being a teenager growing up, hearing the spirits trying to talk to me, they're saying my names, they're trying to communicate with me through electronics. I knew something was up, but I was really terrified of the gift. So I was always intrigued, but I did not think one minute did I think, oh, you're a medium and you can communicate with them. I was always scared. But when I truly discovered it, that I was meant to do what I'm doing, was about 4.5 years ago, right before I started the team. My daughter is also very gifted, and she started having things happen to her at a young age. So I didn't know how to help her. And at this time I was having things going on with me, still, and I needed to figure out how can I help my child. I thought, oh no, I've passed on something to her. Now she's experiencing these things. Mm-hmm. So I ended up getting a reading from a guy in Ireland, and he said, Mandy, I can help you. He said, I can mentor you and you can help your daughter. So that's how it all started for me. And he mentored me for a whole year, helped me tune into my gifts more, taught me more about the chakras, how to protect myself, how to protect my daughter. And it just went from there. So after that, I started Ghost Sisters. It was like everything was just going in order, the whole journey. And here we are.
Cool. Chris, anything?
Oh, hell of a lot. I've got so many questions to ask, but I'm going to...
Well, start.
Well, if I keep jumping in, then we're going to get nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
Well, that's okay. That's fine. Just jump on in.
It's so similar in lots of ways. I mean, I was probably luckier in that my father was a medium. So my childhood was spent being terrified at night, literally just terrified at night, with not actually seeing apparitions, but knowing there were people walking around the room and hearing my name, like you say, hearing your name called, getting touched, cold breezes round the room, things getting knocked over. Yeah, you're with me, aren't you? Yeah. And my childhood was terrifying. And I could, I didn't literally get under the covers because, they can't get me. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have a clue. When I was 5, I was reading every single thing on ghosts and God knows what. I was a precocious child, precocious. Reading everything I could get my hands on. My parents were getting me the stuff out the adult reading library. So I was reading sort of Underwood and whomever, and reading this and catching up. Teenage years, scary. I'm really glad for you that you didn't have this in your teenage years, because it's out of control. We are out of control in the teenage. Did you have it in your teenage years?
I did.
We're out of control.
Crawling in I hate to say this, but I've actually felt them when I was a teenager crawl into my bed, and I was like, oh my, I knew something wasn't right.
Something's not right. Yeah. But unfortunately, we put this light on the other side, and it sort of says, come and talk to me. And they come around like moths. So, and you don't know what you're doing. You haven't got a clue what you're doing. I was bending spoons across a room when I was a teenager. I was stopping motorbikes. I was wild. You know what you're like as a teenager? I want to show off. Hey, babe, look at me. Yuri Geller, who's he? Unfortunately, I settled down after. When I was 19, I knew everything about the paranormal. You asked me a question, I knew everything, absolutely everything. By about 25, I realized I didn't know shit all. And these days, as Larry will tell you, if it can happen, it will happen, because shit happens with the paranormal. There's no such thing as an expert in the slightest.
Amen to that.
And as soon as we get think we get a handle on what's happening, they change the rules. They've done it to me so many times.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am grateful in a sense. I'm as sensitive as a rock.
No, you're not. You wait. I'm going to get you to 1 or 2 haunted places over here, and you're going to sit down, and I'm going to take you through the process of learning how to recognize.
Well, it's funny, and probably Mandy can say. Well, we've talked about it too. Being a cop, you get this gut instinct.
You've got the gut feeling.
Yeah, and don't stop this car. Wait for your backup to get here, and you got to wonder. Now I wonder. Didn't think too much of it back in the day, but now I wonder if that was just somebody on the side saying, "Yo, dude, hold up. I know it's gonna." You're
gonna get the first signals that we get. You go into a property, and immediately you start thinking something's not right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you start. Then we'll take over, because we've got more experience, and say, right, what's not right? Who's here? And it's as simple as that. You just got to get used to it.
How did that affect you as a kid, Mandy? Since you had the
come on, yeah, I spilt my guts here. Come on.
Well, it's not so much that I'm afraid of the dark. As a kid, I was afraid of what's in the dark.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a kid, I grew up in a pretty big family. My brothers like to scare us girls all the time. So I always had that.
Some big brothers do.
Yeah. I always had that creepy vibe all the time, and who's scaring who, but still, I always knew there was something about the house that I grew up in, and it just scared me. Maybe it's because I was a child and I was just, being young and just feeling that way. But as a teenager, I ended up losing my older brother. He was killed, and he was actually the first one to actually come to me, and he was with me for many years through my journey. And he actually ended up protecting me because my house almost caught on fire. And if it wasn't for him having me do what I did that day, then my house could have caught on fire and things could have went really wrong.
Wow.
But yeah, he was the first one to come to me as a teenager, and he scared me. Even in spirit, he scared me. I would hear him walking around, because I ended up taking over his old room, because 5 kids in a 2-story, 3-bedroom house is, us girls in one room and the boys in the other. So my parents ended up separating when I was young, and I ended up staying with my father. After being with my mother for a year, I came back home to my father, and I ended up moving into my brother's old room. And he would always turn my radio up and down, And I would hear him walking around in my room. And it's weird to say because he's family. I was still scared because I wasn't, used to the spiritual side of things, and being young, I knew even at a young age, something wasn't right. I knew it was a ghost. I would look at it as, oh God, it's a ghost. And it's my brother. I know it's him, but it still scared me. So yeah, being young and dealing with that can be terrifying, even if it's family.
That's a question. Thanks Hollywood, isn't it? To tell you the truth, thanks Hollywood for The Conjuring and all the Sinister and all the other films. They just make us scared because you see this and you think, oh my God, something's going to come out and show itself and do whatever it does.
I've got a question for either of you. Whoever, you can both jump in on this.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Always
okay,
ladies first.
But I do want to hear your side of it too, Chris. So Mandy first. How often do folks like me, who really don't have that gift, and I know what you say, Chris, but I don't feel like I've got that gift at all. But how often does stuff like that happen to folks like me? How often do we have some sort of nudging from the other side that maybe we don't even recognize?
You probably have it more than you realize, and you're just you're blocking it. You know what I mean? You're kind of brushing it off. Like when people are kind of skeptical, they have a tendency to do that. They kind of go into denial. Oh, they can explain it away. I would say you probably have that going on probably every day and don't even realize it. Spirit's probably coming around you and you're not realizing it. You're not tapping into that energy.
I know, Chris, you talked to me about my grandpa tapping me on the shoulder the other day. You mentioned that too.
But it might be your father.
Might be, yeah. It's but I don't consider. I mean, I consider myself skeptical is a tough word, guys, because you get some folks that call themselves skeptics, and that to some of them that means if you put the evidence right in front of them and it's undeniable, they'll still come up with a way to explain it, regardless of what's sitting in front of them. That's not. That goes beyond that. Being open-minded, but wanting to see proof, but willing to look at the proof. That's, to me, what a skeptic should be. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily.
You want prove it rather than I'll prove you are wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not here to prove it. As I keep saying, I'm here to just give you evidence. Proof is one of these things that you've got to find yourself. All I can do is give. Look, how far does that stick out now, Larry?
Oh, let's not even go there, Christopher. Jeez,
everyone's waiting on that big whoa out there in the paranormal field. Like they want that big thing to happen to them. Well, just hold on tight because it'll happen when you're at least not expecting it. And then what will you do?
But see, that's what I'm getting at. I don't consider myself. I don't believe any of it, even no matter how much you show it to me type of skeptic. I feel like, especially you talk about the stick being kind of pulled out a little bit there, Chris.
Oh, it has.
I'm open-minded. I'm willing to see the evidence. How to put this? I'm willing to see that evidence if it's presented to me in a logical format. And if you give it to me, and I've had experiences. I've seen 3 full-bodied apparitions, for example.
All I've got to say is Lucy.
Yeah, wow, that's quite the story, isn't it? Yeah, well, Lucy and Florence. Okay. Well,
I'm not going to mention Florence because that's personal, but Lucy.
That is personal. Okay, fair enough. Well, this is actually going to come out in one of our the TV shows that you also see on this channel. That's also.
Oh God, I'm not on television.
You've already been on once, pal.
Oh
so
God,
forget it. Yeah, this was we were conducting an investigation that was being filmed by a film crew, and I don't want to use any names just yet. But what happened was we were discussing the computer going off when I'd set it down to get the team going, and it went off. And Chris saw a coffin in a room that he had no idea. When we go to these places, Mandy, I don't know if I haven't told you this, and folks out there, if you're listening, Chris joined us on our investigations via Skype. And we started doing this about, not quite a year ago. In fact, the first one I want to say was earlier this year. And he goes through, he doesn't know where we're at. I'm wearing headphones, so nobody can hear him. He knows no history of where we're at. He only knows that we're probably in Florida somewhere, at least this one. And we were going through a venue, and he had seen a coffin in a room where he did not know, but I did. A person had passed away just a few months prior. So that was pretty spectacular. He saw a coffin, and I've come to understand that folks with your gift see a lot of symbols rather than saying, hey, I used to work here. They'd show you a wrench or something, some sort of symbol to show you they're working. So he saw the coffin. We thought that was pretty cool because he did not know a person died in that room just a few months before. But then as we're getting ready to sign off, because we had really bad connection that night, if you remember, Chris. And so we were going to sign off. You suddenly turned to me and said, Larry, who's Lucy? Now, Lucy's not a real common name you hear these days. It's, and I don't know. I don't know a Lucy. And there was one person in the room. In fact, it was one of the television producers that were filming the program. And I know this person very, very well, known them for years. And I turned to her and said, does the name Lucy mean anything to you? And her eyes got like the size of saucers. I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. Chris, I'll talk to you a little bit. So I got off with Chris, and I turned to this friend of mine and said, who's Lucy? And she said, Lucy was the granddaughter of the person that built this place, and she committed suicide in front of the house back in the 1960s. And I mean, it was, how do you come up with that? How does that happen?
How much evidence do you want?
Yeah, I mean, and the Florence thing, and we will.
Florence is a different league, and that's up to you whether you want to reveal it or not.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but it's somebody who's related to me who Chris had never heard of. I never talked about this person, but described seeing this person physically, what their attitude was, how they felt about things. That I'm not giving a lot of detail, but it was really precise. And he didn't know it until the end of the investigation, when this person came back, almost looking at me for forgiveness. I said, okay. And I described this relative of mine, and I said, oh, by the way, her name's Florence. And he had no idea. He had no clue at all.
That's the first thing I'd said, Florence. It's something like Florence.
No, not something like. You said Florence.
Oh, right. I can't. I don't remember. I just do what I do.
Well,
it's probably like Mandy. You do what you do, and then 5 minutes later, it's gone out of your head.
Yeah. You don't remember everything that you said to somebody. No. Like when I give readings to people, it's like, oh, I don't remember that. Oh, I said that.
I said that. Did I? I don't remember saying that. Dear.
And for folks in your situation, it's as tangible as the computer sitting in front of you. It's real, but we have yet to, and here's where the stick is still stuck in there, Chris, a little bit. We can't prove it.
Okay. Lindy.
Oh God, you keep hitting me with those, don't you? Okay, Lindy, I won't go into right now.
Lindy and the rods.
Okay. Now, for starters, I gotta make this clear to everybody out there's listening. I have 100% faith in Chris. He has been right. I gotta say 98% of the time. Occasionally, maybe something I haven't even caught on yet. So this is not a question of Chris. I believe in what you do. I believe in what Mandy does. I do believe folks have this gift. So I don't doubt it. I've seen too much evidence, Lindy being one of them.
You want proof in this Newtonian universe from something which is outside a Newtonian universe.
Exactly. And it's not that I want.
Ask EVPs then.
Billy in the old school, is this movie you like to be in? Yes, sir. Okay, I know.
That's the best you're going to get of evidence that you're after in a Newtonian universe.
Absolutely, and I agree. And do not misunderstand. I am not doubting your gifts, either of you. But as a cop, wanting to take evidence to a jury, which is really kind of, in a way, how I describe my goal, we haven't gotten there yet. My desire is, and I understand, Christopher, that this is probably never can happen, okay? I get that. But my desire is to somehow come up with a way to quantify what you're seeing and be able to use it as proof. That's my desire. I get we may never get there. But you're right when it comes to the EVP side of it. That might be one of the solid pieces of proof that we're eventually going to be able to have to prove this. So,
well, I also want to say, in my opinion, there's different types of skeptical people.
Yes, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, and you remind me of one of the girls on my team, and she's in law enforcement. She's a felony probation officer, and we're best friends since 2nd grade. And as when we were in our younger 20s, we actually lived together in this haunted apartment. All kinds of crazy stuff going on. Well, one day she came home to the apartment and she was alone. And when she walked in the back door, she seen this child figure float across the room. And she immediately stopped and was like, started crying. It freaked her out, you know. And to this day, even though she has seen what she's seen, she still is kind of like wants more, you know what I mean? To really believe.
I think, but I think you misunderstand where I'm coming from. I only want more in order to prove my case. It's like you investigate a case, you in your heart know the perpetrator committed the act. You know it.
Yeah.
Based upon circumstantial, okay, but I can't prove it yet. And that's what I need. And that's where
you need proof, like dealing with law enforcement side. If someone committed a crime, you have to have enough evidence to prove that they're guilty. And the same thing in the paranormal, you want to be able to present more evidence of proof.
And that's where Chris's reference to the stick comes into play, because I've got it stuck up there a little bit too far in order that I'm wanting more for that. I believe there is something else out there on the other side. I just want to be able to prove my case. That's it in a nutshell. So I'm not skeptical. I don't say, oh, I'm just seeing things. I believe there's something out there. My quest is to prove it. 3 times.
Yeah,
you shouldn't question. You've already seen them.
And not only that, has he told you about Evan? No. Well, I mean, where's that come from then? If you haven't got something in your family, where's it come from with Evan?
Evan's my 21-year-old son who has a gift, the same gift. So you guys you're missing it though. It's not that I doubt it occurs. It's not okay, Chris. You can't put that on the show. That's not family friendly. Okay. It's not a question that I don't believe it. It's a question.
You're not going to get the proof that
I know that. Well, I can always
because they'll just take one look at me or any other psychic and say, "You're making it up." Well, somebody told you beforehand.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. Even if I don't have the gift, if I understand it exists, can't I have that desire to help prove that it exists?
You can keep going as you're doing, and we'll hope we'll get there.
There you go. Because if you say never happened, and I've had people tell me this, never happened, you're wasting your time. Well, if that's the case, nothing would ever get discovered in this world. Okay? So you got to keep going, and that's where I'm at. That's why I'm such a stickler. And Mandy, we've never had this discussion. I'm a huge believer in the collection of evidence, the preservation of evidence, and the use of evidence to examine with other pieces of evidence coming in, trying to come up with a corroboration of things that can help prove it. I.e., when we conduct an investigation, we always do things: moon phase, weather conditions, barometer, temperature, the whole 9 yards.
Newtonian universe.
Well, okay, but short of having the gift that you guys do, that's the way I got to go.
No,
now,
I tell you what, Indy again, and I can't go into the details, can I?
Well, not on this episode.
No, not on this episode. Trust me on this, Mandy. Trust me on this. It's an important one.
I think I may have told Mandy about this one.
Right. Okay. It's an important one.
I may have.
How much physical evidence do you need?
I agree.
Well, now the Lindy case can do that. The Lindy case has the potential to do that. And folks, so we don't sound overly cryptic to you. We don't mean to do that. It's just the cop in me.
This is ongoing.
this is ongoing and it's the cop in me. You don't talk about details about investigations, but we conducted an investigation where Chris came up with a specific name. Further inquiry by me with the use of dowsing rods and a spirit box, and nobody could hear what Chris was saying, but those two pieces of equipment confirmed what Chris said. To make a long story very, very short, we think this individual died, and we later found a gravesite with that person at the exact age and the time of, we've got it. So now the question comes to be putting it all together, and it's not as it's quite old, so it's not like I've got brand new records. You know, this is very, very old, but we have the opportunity to possibly put some things together. We may not. I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression, but we have the opportunity to take information that was given to us from the other side to prove something that happened on this side. And we're very excited about it. We're working on it right now. So that's where Lindy comes into play. And I don't want to give out too much more than that, but stay tuned, folks, because if we do break this, you'll hear about it first right here on the
I want to go back to the place and I want to see B again.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
Oh,
he's jumping all over on us, man.
This place. You would love this place. There's
he's in love.
Yeah, and she looks like a very young Shelley Winters. And she's very busty, and oh wow, she's
family show, Chris. Family show.
That's not, no, that's fine. I didn't say I'm being good. She's a man eater. She's completely a man eater. So she liked Larry. Put it this way, she liked Larry a lot. But wow, I've never had such a clear rapport with the spirit. She was just there in my face all the time, and suggestive is the only word for it. Suggestive.
Every show, Chris. I got to keep reminding you.
I want to go back. I think she's brilliant.
Well, we are going to be going back there. That's another spot. So, folks, a lot of our stuff we're going to be hopefully getting out there onto the channel soon. We're editing a lot of it. This might be one of them. So stay tuned. But we've got a lot to offer.
Can I ask a question of Mandy?
No.
You sure can?
No. All right then.
No. She said you could. She said you could.
You do something I can't do. You said that before you start, you do automatic writing.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't do that. It's a trust issue. Because to do the automatic writing, you've got to let them come through. I can't do that. It's a trust issue. I've got bad trust issues. Do you want to tell me what it's actually like to do the automatic writing? Because I've got no idea.
Well, it's, channeling the energies that are here, the lower energies. It can be scary because I'm also a physical medium, so I can feel sometimes what happened to them. And I've had this happen. It's very scary. It's almost like they take you over a little bit. You might look like one might say, oh, she looks possessed when she's doing this. But to me, it's like when you play with, say, if you've ever played on a Ouija board, okay, you're moving. I won't lie, I have. So you're being moved. That spirit is moving you. So it's kind of like that. That's the best way I can describe it. They are moving me. But the weird thing is, it's like I know what they're going to say, and they just keep writing. I already know. And then they give me images of what happened to them, and it gets crazy. But I have had scary experiences where I've been in locations and spirit told me to stop writing, and I didn't listen. I kept going, and it got bad. It got real bad.
Yeah, see, I can't see, Chris, knowing you, I can't see you doing that because you got too many walls up. I can't see you doing that successfully.
No,
I think he could. I think he could.
Oh, he could. Oh, I think he's got the ability. It's just his personality. I can't see him doing it.
I can't work with teams. I don't trust people. I don't do organized events. I don't trust people. So I do all my investigations on my own, or one or two people I trust, or Larry, who I trust. I've got a feeling I could trust you implicitly because you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, so, I
do. How you run a team with the ability you've got, I just don't understand, because that's just so far above me that I can't do that.
It can be difficult, you know. But a lot of the girls on the team have different abilities. You know, being women, they're very empaths. You know, they're very open to spirit. You would love the other girl on my team. Now, Jenny, she does psychiatry. Mm-hmm. She is a 4th generation white witch. Mm-hmm. She walks into an area, and when spirits come up on her, it's like a needles, like it's like all her nervous system just starts going wacko, and it's amazing. When she taps into that witchy side, look out, because it's like her gifts are really, really awesome. I mean, they're kind of like mine, but it's different. Mm-hmm. She touches objects. She could sit down in chairs and automatically it starts coming to her what they look like, what happened to them, how that spirit is feeling, you know? So, I mean, it is hard having this gift and having all these different women that have different abilities, because you combine all that together when you're out there, it can get a little crazy.
Well, yeah, I like it because you tell people you're a medium, or you tell people there's 2 or 3 people in the room are mediums, or they've got an ability to do something, and they assume you're going to pick up on the same person, and it's not the way it happens, because I'm looking down here on 95 kilohertz. Someone is looking at 103 kilohertz. Someone's looking at 150 kilohertz. And you're picking up on the various things that are around where you're looking.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in just for a second? Only because if I don't, I'll lose this thought. What you just described, Chris, the frequency and vibration angle of all this is where I truly believe that we're going to get our breakthrough. And it's going to come through the world of instrumental transcommunication, ITC. And so I'm glad you mentioned that frequency part of it, because being a not gifted person like you guys are, that's where I believe that some tangible evidence is going to come through. So I just wanted to jump
going back to the States after you've been to 3 or 4 of my haunted castles, and you're going to go, hey man, I'm the bee's knees. I can do this.
The bee's knees? Really?
The bee's knees. The dog's floppy bits. The bee's knees.
Oh, the family show.
I don't do family shows.
You better.
I don't like kids. Full stop. I don't do family shows.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I just had to drop that in there because frequency and vibration, I think, is just a huge, often overlooked part of this whole thing. But that's just my opinion. Anyway,
can I get back? Can I
get back? Yeah, get back. Get back.
Mandy, when you go onto a site, do you range? That's the only way I can put it. Do you sort of walk in and then start ranging up and down with your mind to say, who's here? Come on, who's here? Then you pick up on something sort of high up sort of energy, which I say is lighter energy, or further down, which is darker energy, and then you home in on it, and then you start picking them up, and you get 1 or 2 things come in, and then your light goes on, and then they come in a bit stronger. And does that happen to you as well?
I'm a very hyper person. It's weird for me. As soon as I pull up to a location, I don't like to know anything. I might know where we're going, but I will not research. I like everything. I don't want to know nothing. So when I pull up, there's been times soon as I'm on my way, I will pick up on it, and when I get out of the car, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like the energy that come up on me, and I start to sense right away, whether children, a man or a woman. But there has been times, to me, when you say the higher energy, to me, that is someone who's already crossed over. I feel like I get a lot of my spirit guides and family that comes down and tries to protect me. I can honestly say that because I've been in some dark areas where I could have been hurt, things I've been around, and I felt really protected by a higher energy. But yes, when I go to these properties, it's like I start tuning in right away, and I try not to do it too much because I don't want to take over the whole thing with when we're investigating, because then they'll be like, oh, she knows it all, or
that sounds like you, Chris.
It sounds like me, doesn't it? It's exactly like me, which is exactly why I just talked to Larry. The reason is you must have been on or seen these investigations where you get this all-powerful medium who is, look at me, I'm the best thing since Derek Agora, I am it. And they're going, oh, I can see someone in the corner over there, and it's Abraham Lincoln. And everybody said, oh, I can feel something in that corner of the room. And then somebody will say, oh, I've just had my hair touched. And which is why I want to talk to Larry. And only he knows what I'm saying. And nobody else in the team has got a clue.
That's
so
awesome.
if I tell Larry that there's someone in the corner of the room, and then somebody says, oh, I've got a feeling there's someone over there. I like that. Even Larry likes that.
It's validating you. It's validating.
That's good stuff to me.
And that person had no clue because they don't hear what you're saying to him.
This is why we do it. Yeah.
I got to jump in. I got to talk about the guy in the bathroom, Chris. We were investigating. He's like, what the heck's he talking about?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, you will. You will in a minute. We were investigating a place. It was going to be, the folks wanted us to do an event there, and I won't do it unless I investigate first to find out if anything is in there. So Chris is with us. It was the Women's Club in Vero.
All right. Chris. Yeah, I know.
So we walk through this whole place, and we walk into the women's restroom. Now, once again, I've got the earphones on. And Chris says, Larry, there's a guy in this room, and he's a creep. He likes to stay here and watch the ladies go over to the bathroom and stuff like that. So I'm like, and he describes him. And once again, this is kind of my field of expertise when I was working. So he describes somebody that you would find doing that, and his thinking and everything. And we just kept it to ourselves. It was about half hour later. I've got a team in that bathroom that says, with using the equipment, saying, we believe we've got a guy in this room and he doesn't like to leave this room. He likes to stay in here and watch. They had no clue. Chris hit it spot on. And that's one reason why, it took me a long time to say, well, doing readings over the phone. I had an event that happened about 10 years ago that kind of began to change my mind. But getting Chris, I have so much faith in Chris, getting him on our investigations. He's in Durham, England, for God's sake. He comes to us via Skype, and he's hitting these things that are just spot on. And in this
I can't do it over the phone. I actually have to see the place so I can go there.
Okay.
Kind of like remote viewing.
That's exactly
absolutely exactly.
I've done a lot of that.
Then I go there.
Yep.
And then that's how I can pick up on what's going on there because I'm actually there. So you're with me. You're understanding what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yep. I've done it. I've done it for other teams.
You're going to get this lovely lady on one of your investigations, Laurie.
Well, I'm open. I'm open to it. So, but that's just an example. So when I say I want evidence, I firmly believe in his ability. I mean, this was amazing. There's a guy in this room. Half hour later, my team says, we're getting readings that there's a guy in here. How the heck could that happen? How could they have known that's what Chris had said a half hour before? Good stuff.
You pass secret messages. That's what it was. You just passed that secret message I didn't see.
Yeah. but that's what somebody that is so skeptical that they're not going to believe what's right in front of them would say. You just passed them a message and you're making it up. Well, I know that you're not. And that's right now all that we've got in the field is we trust those that we're working with and we know what they're saying to be accurate.
Mandy, I will just add, I am so skeptical of my own ability, you will not believe it.
Yeah, he is.
I think all mediums get like that. We start to receive so much information and it's like, is it, you start to doubt, like, I understand that because there's times that I have been like that. And it's just like, you kind of get skeptical, but then it's like, there's so much stuff going on and you're validating so much things. Like I give people readings all over the world and some of the things that come through and it's like, even though I'm hearing spirit say this and they're showing me images and stuff, even I will question. I'll be like, oh my God, it's crazy.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
For years, I would say nothing. I'd say absolutely nothing, except if somebody really annoyed me, and then I'd let fly. And then they didn't like me, and I'd never go again because I wouldn't be invited. I went to a thing up at the Pierce Institute, which is very haunted in Glasgow, up in Scotland. And the medium there knows me and says, you've got the gift. Anything you see, say it. Yep. Just say it. It doesn't matter. Just say it. And I was off on it. And I took her up and I was saying about someone on the balcony up there. And then she said, what, you mean the guy with the red beard? And what? Yeah, that's the one. It was just like this all that evening. she was confirming what I was seeing and doing, and then I had to go and sort out a problem. That's what I do. I'm a troubleshooter. So I had to go and sort out a problem for her in the basement because there was Mr. Dodgy down in the basement who liked hurting people. So we got rid of him for a while. Can't keep him out. Full stop. This is something I say to everyone. You know, oh, we've got a ghost. Can you come and get rid of it? I might.
Yep.
I might.
Do you try to cross them over? Do you believe that people who like us can cross over the spirits? Because I honestly, I've only tried maybe once or twice, and I can't guarantee that that's where they went. I think they can be moved out of an area only if they want to be, you know, because most of these spirits were people, you know, once before is like trying to tell me, hey, you got to leave. If I don't want to go, I'm not going to go, you know.
Chris, it sounds exactly like you. Go for it.
How do you cross them over?
I do not do that. I will go in and I will talk to them if we have because I'm a firm believer how you are in life is how you are in spirit. Yeah, you have so many angry spirits, people who are angry in this life, they're going to be angry in spirit if they're still down here. People who were bad people, murderers, if they were that hateful, evil person, they're going to be evil. And, you know, when they pass, it's going to, you know, they're going to be that dark image that people see, you know, that is dark as dark. They're going to be that thing that's here, you know, but that's what I believe. I don't think I can cross them over. I'm not saying no one can do it because it's all about the intentions. And every one of us do and see things differently. How my gift works is totally different than yours. It might be similar, but it won't be the exact same. I will pick up and validate differently for spirit. So.
I was just going to say, I mean, yeah, you get people who will not leave under any circumstances. Full stop. End of story. I'm enjoying myself being a mean bastard. Hey, end of story. Some you get who are just lost. My way of doing that is, why the hell should they listen to me? They don't know me from Adam. I might be telling them porky pies all the time. So I get I go to the other side, bring the light in. One of their relatives will come through, take them on.
Well, I believe that can be done. Yeah. I really do.
I mean, otherwise, I can flood the place with light, and they'll go out. But if they want to come back, I can't stop them. You know, I can't stop anyone who's passed on coming back. If they want to come back and revisit a place, I can't stop them. They don't go up there forever and ever and ever. If they want to come back to somewhere, they're going to come.
Oh, yeah.
Can I jump in, guys?
Definitely.
Can I jump in, guys? As somebody that doesn't do what you do, I find it intriguing that the similarities in the way that you guys are thinking, especially about the fact that you can't force anybody to go. And what I want to add to that is there are many folks in the paranormal field that like to, for a very different reasons, go into a place and say they can do exactly what you two say cannot be 100% guaranteed. And there's two reasons that occurs. And one is they think they can do it. They truly believe in their hearts they can do it.
The intention.
But they can't because they don't understand. The second, of course, are the charlatans. Folks that are doing it just say, hey, as Chris likes to say, look at me, I'm wonderful, I can do this. But I heard from folks that I consider gifted in this area, when they tell me you can't guarantee it, that's where I think the answer is. And we have to be careful of folks that say they can do things and they're experts. Chris, you even said it yourself. There are no experts in this field. There are not. There are not.
I've been investigating since 1974 and I can barely scratch the surface. Full stop. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. But I just do what I do.
Well, and see, that's the honesty I think that's oftentimes missing in our field, with folks not being able to say, look, I'm not the end all to be all. There's some things we can't guarantee. And that's one thing that worries me about paranormal investigations. Folks going in as teams saying, okay, and I know there's a lot of folks like to use SAGE. I have some issues on it on both sides. And we've done this, so everything's better now. Well, what happens if something comes back a week later and you're dealing with somebody
mad?
And it's mad, and you might
exactly. It's worse than ever because it's angry.
And you're dealing with somebody that might be in a state of mental distress because of anything, of everything, and it comes back, and then they take extreme actions to stop the pain. Then where's that paranormal team at? What have they done? What have they caused? And I think that's something that we don't talk about enough, is we could talk about all the abilities in the world, but we can't promise anything. And if we do and somebody gets hurt, whose fault is that? I say it's the folks that made the promise. My opinion.
It depends what you're
what you're promising. I grant you, yes.
It's what you're the basis of your investigation. If you're just doing this for money, and you're just taking people along and saying, come and join us for only $75 a night, and we will let you play with our equipment, and we'll conjure up Abraham Lincoln for you. And you can't conjure spirits. It's whoever's there.
No, nobody
can't say, oh, tonight I want to talk to General Sherman. It won't happen. Unless, of course, you're somewhere where General Sherman is. And then you might say, hey, there's this guy over here, and he's got this real bushy beard, and he doesn't like Southerners. You know, so... Yeah, but I wouldn't know him if he's
sure. But we just have to be careful. Don't make promises you can't keep. That's what I'm kind of.
No, but there's places I want to go and say I want to see Bull Run. I want to see Bull Run. As I've told you, I've got a past life memory of Bull Run, the Battle of Bull Run, Manassas. I don't know where it came from, because it just suddenly hit me about 5 or 6 years ago. But a complete memory of the Battle of Bull Run, and it really is one of these very vivid, and you've got lots of emotion with it. And I just want to go there. I really want to go there. It's just get me there. It's like airfields, airfields, airfields. Larry and airfields.
Yes, I'm an airfield. Yeah, we've talked about those stories now. Haunted airfields in England.
I wanted to tell you about speaking of the creepy guy in a bathroom here. When I was at the Cooper Hill Village
in Missouri,
I had spent the night there, and you know, and again, being a medium, I don't want to go in. I separate paranormal and being a medium sometimes, because I don't want to go in and be like, oh, this, that, whatever. I go in and investigate, and if something comes to me, I will say something. If something touches me, I will say. If I hear spirit, I will say. So I don't want to go in and like take over everything. You know what I mean? I try to be an investigator and still tune into spirit. But when I was there was so much energy on this property that as soon as I arrived, soon as I got out of the vehicle, there was a portal. And I can honestly say I feel in my heart that there was a portal right there on the front step. I get out of the car, and it was like I almost passed out. And the lady, Cindy, knew it. She said, are you okay, Mandy? Do you want to sit down? And because the energy just hit me. It was like standing in a portal is the only way I can explain it. It was so bad that I just about passed out. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh God, please don't let me pass out in front of these people. I've never met them before, you know? So I sat down and talked to her, and I was able to get my balance back up. And I was hearing disembodied voices and picking up on different spirits. The energy was really high. But that night we investigated. I did have a man who kept following me around, and he was tapping me on my head. And the next morning when I got cleaned up and I was in the restroom, I will not lie, getting cleaned up, taking a shower and stuff, I felt like there was a man in there. Now, the weird part is later that night when we were investigating, we did this spray, and that's where we use this infrared app that is built to do this type of spray that we do. We use water and light, because water is a kinetic energy source for spirit. And during this, when we're recording with this app, and it has a built-in obelisk in it too, so words will pop up when you go to record. So the girl who was with me was recording, and I was doing the spray. I was spraying water into the light, and I knew there was a man there. And I asked him to come over and put his head into the water so I could get an image of him, capture him. During this obelisk, it came across, he says, go get in the shower.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Yes.
I instantly felt like, oh my gosh, this was the man. He was watching me. I know he was.
Oh my God.
He followed me around that whole night. And he also kept playing with my hair. He loved my hair. And, you know, this goes back into what you said, Larry, how we were having that weird text message coming through that you were not sending. That man has followed me. I know he's here.
Well, but just for everybody out there, I didn't send any weird messages, okay? I want to make sure that's...
I believe it was the spirit. I've had spirits mess with my phones before, but not in a long time. Not since I've been in the paranormal, not like this. Before I did the paranormal, they would mess with my phone, electronics, and whatever. But I believe that this was the spirit sending the messages to me. And Larry was like, I'm not sending you that. I believe it was him. Because also Saturday before we went live on Ghost Sisters, me and the one lady was just sitting there talking about, you know, places we've been. I felt a man spirit. I felt him come right up on me. And I said, who just came up on me? Are you the doctor or the soldier? Well, she goes, where are you at? Are you right up in front of Mandy? Right away, I got a text message on Ghost Sisters, and it said, and it was from Danielle. Now, this is weird. Danielle sent this message at 12:30, but I didn't receive it until 7:16 p.m. It said, I am out front of the red brick building. Then she gets the same message that she sent to me, sent to her phone. And she was shocked. She said, Mandy, I sent you that a long time ago at 12:30. I said, well, I'm just now receiving this. Now, that could be the internet service. Yeah. But the weird thing is, how did she receive the same message that she had sent to me at the same time?
It's interesting. Yeah.
So I feel this is the man that was texting me on Ghost Sisters, Larry, and for some reason he was using your
messages. And I want to make sure this clear. The question that was asked was, can you tell me more about your background? Which I wouldn't have asked because I got it when you joined me on my other radio show.
Yes.
So it made no sense for me to ask that question. So I just don't want anybody to think that.
I thought,
but it makes sense if it's some guy that's following you, wanting to know more about you. So I kind of get that. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Yeah.
Is he causing trouble? This is the question. Is he actually causing trouble, or is he just trouble? Sorry,
Mandy. He wants to know if this guy is causing you any trouble.
I'm not trying to tune into him. I know he's here, but I think that's why he's using the phone, you know, because it's like you won't tune into me, and I don't want to tune into him. So he's using the phone to talk to me, but he's not really causing me any problems or anything. But I do know he's watching me. He's kind of coming and going, I feel. I think I remind him of someone.
Awesome. Or you might be connected in a past life.
Very well. Very well.
That's the alternative. That they see you in the past life, and why can't you see me? And hey, you know, we were together, and all this rubbish. And it's when you just got to turn around and say, "Hey, guy, get a life, go away."
You know, guys, I hate to do this to you, but we're out of time.
No, we can't be. We're just getting going.
I know.
We haven't even really discussed the Missouri property.
No, we're going to do that quickly. Missouri property. I'm butting out. It's you two. Go on, go for it.
Well, this is the Mandy part of the show. You were in Missouri. You've had it. I'd like to know about this place. How'd you find out about it? What did you experience there besides obviously this guy that's following you around? Go ahead and tell us.
So again, being a medium, I get people readings from all over the world, and they message me, wanting readings. I had given Cindy's daughter a reading a while back. Well, she ended up telling Cindy about the reading, and a few months later, Cindy contacts me, and I give her a reading. And then after the reading, she goes, I see you're a paranormal investigator also. I said, yeah. She goes, I have a place here that you might want to come check out. And then she started sending me pictures of how big the place was. And I was like, so drawn to it. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm coming. So that's how it all started.
And it's the eastern part of Missouri, correct? Don't want to give too much of it away. We don't want folks flocking there. But we may be going there. So I'm kind of trying to work on that right now. I was very, if you want to check out Mandy's channel, which we're going to give you a second here to tell them about your YouTube channel and Facebook. That's where I saw this, and I was really, really fascinated with what she was getting. I watched part of it live and part of it a little bit later. It's really a fascinating spot. That's one reason why we're trying to get the FBPI crew out there too. So tell folks, Mandy, how people can see what you're doing, and especially this Missouri trip. Where do they need to go?
If they want to watch us live, you can check us out on Facebook. We do a lot of investigations live. And that's one of our biggest platforms is Facebook. You can also find us on all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. You can also go watch us on YouTube. And again, but our main platform is Facebook. You can watch us live.
Cool. And that's Ghost Sisters, correct?
Yes, Ghost Sisters.
Got it.
The link will go on. Don't worry, they'll be linked, and everyone can find this.
Yeah, we'll get this up, and everybody will find this fun time too. But we are out of time, though, guys. It's I know it is disgusting. So we're gonna.
Mandy, can we do another one, please?
Yeah.
I've got more questions.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it. Let's do it.
In fact, folks, if you liked and you want to hear more from Mandy, let us know in the comments after you watch this episode. Let us know. We'll get her back here. We'll get Krista Beggar to come back or something, man. Okay.
I'll buy you a bottle of King Goblin.
Oh, maybe I'll have a glass of wine while you drink that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
We need to do it later in the day.
I want tasting notes.
See, one of the problems is he's 5 hours ahead of us, so he can, it's drinking time there. Here it's a little bit early, and that's one thing I want to mention, folks. Chris does this with a 5-hour difference, and he always accommodates us for the taping. So I appreciate.
And usually on the investigations, it's midnight and on.
Yeah, because we start the investigations 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And he stays on late. So
and I am not a night owl. I'm in bed by 9.
Yeah. I would make an old man joke.
If you want to do it at midnight start, so I can get up at 5, that's brilliant.
We may be doing one of those soon because it's a restaurant.
I can do that, no problem, because I'm usually awake at 5 anyway. So
we'll chat about that later. But anyway, folks, if you enjoyed the show, please let us know. If you want us to bring Mandy on back, let us know that also. If you're enjoying this and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you know when we've got new content coming up. And we will have more coming up in the very, very near future. So if you want to learn more about us or the folks that we're talking to, stay tuned in. You can catch us on Facebook on Indian River Hauntings or the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation. And you can also get us on YouTube at Indian River Hauntings. That's where you'll see this show coming up first. And we're also on Instagram. So take a look at all of us. And, Mandy, I really appreciate you joining us again.
I appreciate you having me on here. It was awesome talking to you and Chris.
I got a feeling we'll probably con you into coming back soon. Chris, for any final notes before we sign off?
No. I mean, what do I always say? I say nothing. I'm just miles away.
You are miles away. You're in Durham,
I'm miles away. I'm always miles away. I keep saying to people, it's no good having me on investigations. I'm so busy talking to whoever's over there that I fall down ditches, I trip over walls, and I walk into walls. It's a well-known phenomenon.
And
then people say, why didn't you record this? I didn't remember to turn it on. I'm just too busy talking to whoever's up there. And
anyway,
that's why I'm so in awe of you being able to do this and the medium side, because I can't. I'm just bloody useless. That's what it comes down to. I'm useless.
Can I ask you real quick before you end this? Chris, do you believe when you're drinking that you can tune in the spirit still just as good?
Oh, you should have asked that.
Because I drink wine and do live readings, and it's like, whoa, it's like all this, it's like worse. It's like,
oh, we've had this discussion so many times, haven't we, Chris?
It's yes and no. It's 2 pints good, 3 pints bad. Yeah. Once I like having something to drink before I do it. This is why I have this. This is me getting over me not sitting here saying absolutely nothing and sitting in the corner and saying, go away, and leave me alone. So if I have one, I'm all right. I'm a bit verbose. If I have 2, everything's flooding me. If I have 3, I'm imagining pink fairies and God knows what out the woodwork. And you've got to maintain that level between contact and imagination.
And see, and that's my problem. Well, I agree that it may open up the mind. I checked the U.S. government did it with LSD and MK Ultra and all that stuff back.
I have never taken any illegal substances in my life.
No, I believe, but even alcohol, that gives folks that are true, are real hardcore, I don't believe anything skeptics say, well, of course you heard something. You had a glass of wine. We all know that's not the case, but you know, that's the way.
And how drunk do you get on one glass of wine?
Oh
dear, I had a glass of wine. I must be paralytic.
Hey guys.
The only one you've got to watch out for is giving Larry beer and then asking him to walk over bridges.
Okay, Chris, let us not chat about that anymore. You're going to cut this out, okay? It's out of the tape. Anyway, we got to go. We're out of time anyway, folks. So with that, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned and once again, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, hit that bell icon so that you know when there's new content up. And please join us for the next one on the air with Indian River Hauntings. And please, until then, take care, love your family, hug your kids, and see you on the other side. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.